Yo, it finally happened. I recorded a whole video and you heard none of it. Simply because I forgot to hit record. So, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, Desmond. And so today we are going to be jumping into the most cliche video that is on YouTube. Yep, I'm doing it. Why? Because we're new to this and we're true to it. And we're going to talk about, you guessed it, my camera box. So today we're going to talk about the camera box, what's in my box, the Pelican, and we're going to talk about why I use this gear. I'll be honest, I would love to answer every question around why I decided to use this lens, why I decided to use this camera. That's coming. But today the goal is really just to introduce you to the box, why I love this setup, why I use probably 90% of what's in there all the time. And then from there, we'll talk about it. Side note, I don't know if you've done this or not, but you need to do this. There's a subscribe button like right there. Push it, please. It helps. We're trying to grow here. On top of that, leave some comments. Let's talk about it. If you're a Sony user, I'm sorry for you. If you're a Nikon/Red user, wow, what an upgrade. If you're a Canon user, welcome to the community. No, honestly, I have no beef against any type of camera. I think that all cameras are nice, but Canon is better. So with all of that being said, we're going to jump to this box. I know I'm a little raspy. Don't judge me. Side story. Field day got the best of me. Yeah, my son's school, they had field day as we were out there in the field, and I'm walking up, I'm thinking this is about to be amazing. No, it was pure torture because their entire field day was in a field of weeds. And who has allergies? This guy. Who didn't take their Allegra or Zycam or anything else that day? This guy. So yeah, so with all of that, that's why there's a little raspiness. It sounds like I'm a professional singer. Yeah, I'm not. So you're gonna have to deal with it today. You may hear a little sniffling. I promise you, you're gonna be all right. Let's jump into the box. All right, so let's get into it. So first and foremost, this is the Pelican. I carry this Pelican everywhere I go. It is my camera box. As you see, I am a collector of stickers because I personally love to document things. And then, of course, the stickers each have a story. Angel Bird is the types of cars that I use. When it comes to karate, that is just something that my son is very into, so it allows me to keep him with me all the time. Woody was one of his favorite cartoon characters, as well as then also PlayStation is what will connect me with my brothers. One Community is the church that I would go by, and then of course this is probably some of the best popcorn, double good. Yeti is the cups that I choose to use and stand by, and then of course each other sticker talks about locations that I've traveled as well as also some happy things that I enjoyed. So let's talk about it. Camera box, real simple. You have your lenses here, your 85, your 70 to 200, your 15 to 35, and your 24 to 70. Everything is Canon. Yes, we live by it. So 85 millimeter is the 1.4. It is an EF lens. Don't hate. I know that some are like, hey, why don't you just go ahead and get the RF? Honestly, I didn't see the need to. I don't use it as much. I do, of course, pull it out if I need for portraits or something of that nature. We have, of course, the 70 to 200 RF, which is one of my favorites. It's the 2.8. I love to run with this thing on the C70. I love to run with it on the R5C. But honestly, this is just a perfect all-around lens, especially when we are talking about conferences and being able to get those beautiful shots, smooth and buttery. 15 to 35, this is a super wide lens. Don't get me wrong. It's a very wide lens. However, with this lens being so wide, I use this lens oftentimes on my C70 because my C70 is a super 35. So it allows me to, of course, get the wide shots, but they're still punched in a little bit. I love it. Great versatile lens, and also gives me those dynamic shots that I'm looking for from time to time, just to really tell the story and the location of where I am. 24 to 70. Team, I'll be honest. The 24-70, this is the goat of lenses. I promise you, I will put this up against just about any lens that you throw my way. Excuse me, sorry. This is what happens when you play in a field of ragweed. I personally like this lens because it is perfect for just enough wide, but then it also gives you that tight punch in. And when you're doing video work the way that I do video work, sometimes you don't want to be so intrusive, but you want to go ahead and get the detail from a distance. Definitely when you push those cameras into crop mode as well. Now, let's talk about cameras. Cameras, we have the C70, we have the R5C, and the R5C. These are not all the cameras that we own. We do also own an R5. We have a A7C. We also have our 5D Mark III. We don't use that one anymore. It's decommissioned. But when we think about these cameras and when we're talking about these cameras, these are the main three workhorses that I use. The R5 usually lives on the gimbal just because of the form factor. But I decided to go with cameras that had continuous record. I decided to go with cameras that also had the very same similar formatting when it comes to the cinema version, the cinema line. And so with that, we have the C70. I love the C70 for one reason and one reason only. Boom, right here. You see it? Let me help you understand it. It's those ND filters. Those ND filters that's already built into this camera makes this camera better to me than the R5C. While the R5C may be sharper, yes, it may not be as soft around the edges. The C70 still has that form that I'm looking for, especially when you're running and gunning, when you're going in and out of different venues or different spaces, and you're needing to be able to take that camera and place it in its environment without cranking that shutter speed. Outside of that, of course, it still shoots 4K. Of course, it still goes into 1080p. Yes, we can do all the good slow-mo stuff like we do on all the other cameras. We don't need to talk about that. We know that the autofocusing system on any of the Canon cameras is still unmatched. I don't care what you say, fight me. So that is, of course, what we run with on there. Now, let's talk about battery usage. So batteries for this camera, we have an off-brand. I actually don't even know what this off-brand is called, but we know it's for Canon. It works perfectly fine, so don't judge me. I got it off of Amazon. And then, of course, we have the BP-A30, which came with the camera originally. I personally refuse to buy any more of those, so Canon, if you want to send me some, great. I loved it, but yeah, I'm not a big battery snob when it comes to those. But what I am a snob for are these bad boys here. My small rigs. I personally love my small rig batteries, definitely for my V mounts. They're light, they're small form factor, they last just enough time that I need. I have 250s, I have 199, and then of course I will eventually up and get some of the larger ones as well. But based on how we shoot and what we shoot, we don't let the camera just keep going for 8 hours, 9 hours. We cut it off when we need to. Now, on top of that, let's talk about the R5C. So the R5C is the camera. Sorry, it's a little snug in here. The R5C is the camera that I will say is my future camera. It's the camera that allows me to get my hybrid shots that I'm always looking for. So if I want to switch to photo, boom, I can do that within 3 seconds. Yes, it used to be like 8. It's okay. We won't talk about it. We're not going to go back into the day. But what we do know is this. The camera can switch over much faster because of that firmware. The other things that we will talk about with this camera is it's just a great hybrid camera. It gets the job done. It's sharp. And here's the factor that I love about this camera. It has a longer shelf life. What do I mean by that? When I'm looking at this camera, I know that it will be able to fight against some of the better cameras or the new cameras that come out because automatically it shoots 8K, 30 frames. That's all that we really need. We, of course, still have that 4K 60. We're also still able to jump into that 120 that we love as well. So all of that to say that camera will forever be in the bag, at least for a long period of time. And I'll be honest, I, of course, still live with small rig when it comes to the versatility. So I'm able to pop this thing open, put my camera right here, put the battery right here, run and gun, gives me my shots every time that I need and how I like it. And it still fits in the box as well. I can fit 2 of those in there and also the handles. Just don't have it out because, of course, we've been shooting a lot this week. Now, on top of the Pelican case, we do have a few other things. So we have the battery pouch, we have a area for our cords, and we also keep various screws just in case you're in the process and you're trying to screw something on, you drop the screw. We always like to keep a few extra screws there. And then we also have base plates as well as also extender plates for the R5Cs if we're using a different type of plate at the bottom. Now, that's the camera box. That's what's in my camera box. I can, of course, show you my camera bag one day. Honestly, in my bag is the simple essentials, such as backup camera, which is the R5, and then we keep the gimbal, and then, of course, our mics live in there as well. We do have a audio box, which will be on another video coming up soon. So with all that, team, hey, one thing that I will always tell you is this. Just because this is what my gear looks like doesn't mean that's how your gear has to look like. And at the end of the day, this is not where I started. This is just where I am today. So it took time to build this kit. It took time to build this case. It took time to get everything the way I wanted it to look. But it also came with a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, a lot of practice, a lot of failures. I bought a lot of bad equipment. And so what we're going to talk about definitely within this channel over the next couple of months is some of those pitfalls as well, because life over here is not perfect. I can promise you it's not perfect, but we do, of course, strive to be better and be efficient as we get things done. So that's the box. As I said, as I was closing the box, what's in my box doesn't need to be in your box. It might be in your box. It might not be. But when it's all said and done, understand that it took time to build that box. It took time to put in the energy, the work that I did to get to that level. As you guys saw behind me, I have cameras that I started with, and those cameras also used and did some of the same work that those cameras that I bought today and that I showed you all today do as well. And so all that I'm saying is this video was not designed to say, oh, I need to go buy it. This video is just to show you what I use to capture what I shoot. When it's all said and done, every camera can get a good picture. It's just understanding how to use it. I personally have simplified my box in a way that allows me to capture everything that stays within my niche for its specific purpose, and I'm able to carry it in one box. Now, of course, my audio equipment doesn't go in that box. Of course, my gimbal is not in that box. Of course, my backup cameras are not in that box. But if I'm out and about and I need to go do a shoot, I have exactly what I need at that specific time. So as always, make sure you hit the subscribe. If you have some feedback, some comments, some things you think I could do better within the box, let me know. I'm here to grow as well. And as always, let's get to work.
You know me, I'm all about my business, no apologies. I run it life